Hello chess lovers, welcome to your channel. This is the seventh game of Boris Spassky and Bobby Fischer game in 1972 analysis. We just analyzed the sixth game in the previous video and we so far as have analyzed five game and this is the sixth one. Why did I say seven? But I'm just saying we have analyzed sixth game. Is that in game number two of the match, Bobby Fischer didn't show up, and that game result was just given to Boris Spassky without any moves. Okay, so now, just let's go through the game and analyze game 2. Please don't forget to like and comment on this video and please also make sure that you have subbed to the channel. So let's go through the game. Game starts with e4, c5, the Sicilian opening, knight to f3, d6, d4, takes, and knight f6, knight to c3, and here's a6, the Najdorf opening. Okay, so this is the Najdorf opening so far, and let's see what they come up with. We have and actually, in this game, white is Boris Spassky and black is just Bobby Fischer. I didn't mention this, sorry. Too late, maybe? Anyway, we have bishop g5 from, bishop g5 from Spassky. Sorry. Bishop g5 from Spassky. Here comes the e6 and now 4 from Spassky. We have queen b6. I should just point out that knight to c6 is not somehow playable here because we just take, and we have e5. The game continues by h6, bishop to h4, then we have g5, f takes on g5, then we have knight to d5, knight to e4, d chapters on e5, then we have knight to f6, chapters, just chapters, and as you can see, black is having this kind of weak pawns here, and we have 4 island pawns. This game, I should just point out, this game is very interesting. It is very interesting. You must just watch it to the end. So, but knight to f6, knight to c6 was not played. Played queen b6. So this runs into the Sicilian defense Najdorf poisoned pawn. Why is poisoned pawn? Because black is attacking this somehow poisoned pawn. Okay, Fischer played queen to d2. If you play the move right, bishop takes f6, g takes f6, then you somehow have to go here, or it is not good to go here because of this queen to e3 and you're just losing the pawn. If you place this knight, then you're just losing this pawn here, okay? For example, after knight to e2, you're just losing your e4 pawn. But knight to a4 is just playable here. Hitting the queen and also defending the pawn on b2. After, for example, queen to b2, we have c3, queen to a5. Now black's idea is bishop to d7, hitting this knight another time, and this knight kind of doesn't have any defense. If you play b3, I just take and get rid of the c3 pawn. For example, if you play here, I go here takes, then queen takes on c3 is winning. Okay, so, but let's go back to the main line of the game, okay? So not bishop takes on f6. Now we have queen d2, queen takes on b2, and let me should just show you the interesting lines in here. One of them starts with rook to b1, sorry, rook to b1, queen to a3. We have now the move f5. If knight to c6, f captures on e6, bishop captures on e6, rook takes b7, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, and we have bishop e7, bishop to c4, h6, and the game is somehow around equal. But another idea is e5. If what if black goes e5? We have bishop takes on f6, g takes on f6, and this comes with a nice idea. Is that one of them is rook to b3 now. So black is threatening this pawn. We just threatening to take his queen. We go rook to b3 after queen to a5, guys. We have knight to d5. Black has two choices usually here. One of them is queen to d8, one of them is to just trade. We just view two of both of them. After queen to d8, we have this tactic, rook to c3, not moving the knight, not ignoring the threat of taking the knight, okay? Rook to c3, if you take, then we just take it back. We don't go knight to c7 even. We just take it back, okay? And if black, now I have this threat and also this threat, okay? And also this threat. There are a lot of threats that black has to deal with. For example, if it plays and ignores this, then we just take knight takes on f6. After king to e7, we go back knight to d5. After king to d7 or just king to e8, we just grab the rook on h8 there. So, but the best move here is bishop to e7. We have knight to c7, king to f8, then we just take the rook on a8. And we are just also coming back, if you just take, I just take that. Knight to c6 is just played here. After, for example, queen to e3, queen e3 threatening here now, and some cases here, okay. White is completely winning, not completely, but has a straight edge, but it is very difficult for black to play here. For example, the best move here is d5. After each captures on d5, we have now bishop to b4, hitting, pinning the rook, skewering the rook to the king. And after d captures on c6, we have just queen to a5, putting another pressure on this rook. After king to d2, we have b takes on c6. After bishop to e2, king to g7. Now black threat is actually to take here, and in some cases just check, and to take here. Okay, so let's go back to the main line. And let's see what happens after queen takes on d2. We have king takes on d2. Bishop comes with the check on h6. We go king to d1. After takes, knight to c7 check, king to d8, take, and knight to d7. We go knight back to b6, knight to c5, knight takes, knight captures the rook, knight captures the d6 pawn, so he's just threatening to take here with check, so king to e7 is just played here. We have knight captures on f7 anyway, king takes f7, a takes on b3. We see the One pawn up for white pieces, but this is the opposite color bishop, and this usually is draw. So let's go back to the main line, which rook to b1 was not just played. Bobby went for the knight to b3 move. Okay, sorry, Spassky went for the knight to b3 move. We have queen to a3, bishop to t3. The best move here actually for Boris Spassky was to go for bishop takes on f6, g takes on f6, and someone double this pawn, and now go bishop to e2 and just castle this way and continue the play. Okay, so kind of destroying the structure of black's pawn and usually develop and continue the game. But he went bishop to d3, not major problem of this move. Bishop to e7, just simple developing the piece. After castles, we have h6, bishop. We have bishop to h4, which is right move, and other blunder, some of blunder inaccuracy from Boris Spassky should have taken on f6 after bishop takes on f6, bishop takes on f6. We have the move, nice move, e5 here. After you take, what is the point of this move is that you just free up a space for your knight to just come on e4. Okay. After knight to e4, knight to c6, knight jabs on f6, g jabs on f6 takes, and if you just take, white's idea is to actually go for rook takes on f6. So if you take this way, then rook goes on f6 anyway. Now we are just trying to go bishop e4 or rook a to f1, putting more pressure on this pawn, and white is completely crushing black. This. So what does happen after bishop to h4 is now Fischer finds a simple mini tactic in this position and plays the move. So I'll just pause the video and just find this mini tactic here. It's not that difficult. And notice that this bishop here is undefended now. So black uses this idea and goes knight takes on e4. After knight takes on e4, I'm just hitting your queen. So if you take my knight, then I take your bishop over there. And that did actually happen. Knight takes on e4, bishop takes on h4, and here comes the interesting moment of the game, but not now. We have the move f5, e chapters on f5, and I just pause the video and think what actually Boris Spassky came up with. So use the fact that this thing hasn't yet castled, so maybe I can just expose it somehow. I hope that you just find it. If you find the right move, bishop to b5, then congratulations. Bishop to b5 was just played. Nice move. Is after 8 hits on b5, and I should just notice, I just should point out that this idea of taking after queen takes bishop to b5 is not possible of winning the queen. So you're not just winning the queen, but why? Because of king to e7. So let's just show to you. After here, queen takes on d6, bishop b5. You don't take because your queen is hanging. So if you just take, then I just take your queen. Okay. So, but what is the best move for black in this position is that king to e7, just defending the queen by the king. For example, you don't have any check to just deflect the king to take the queen, and this is just completely winning for black at that. So that's why bishop to b5 was just played, guys. We have bishop to b5, 8 chapters on b5, knight chapters on d6, king to f8, and knight takes on c8. And in this case, one was wondering why computer is just giving black the advantage because of 2 pawns, and black has still no serious threats of checkmate and exposure of the king, so he can defend if he plays the best and finds the best move in this position. After this, we have knight to c6, so black is just hitting this knight, and the best move is just to ignore and play queen to f4 for white. After queen to f4, if you play here, I just take your pawn on f5 and just threaten checkmate here, and I'm also just defending my knight over there. Okay, so after queen to f4, we have rook takes c8, queen takes on h4. After g6, queen to f6, king to g8. Black is kind of finding the safety, and now he's just threatening to go back on e7 and somehow trade queens and win eventually with uh, actually up 2 pawns, right? Yeah, up 2 pawns. So rook to a e1 just is preventing black to play this queen to e7 move, but we have queen to f8, and the threat is queen to d8 or queen to g7, and just go here and just to free his pieces and rooks and just win eventually the game. But let's go back to the main line, which knight to d6 was just played instead of queen to f4. After knight to d6, we have rook to d8, and this knight to d6 was just a blunder. Rook to d8, we have knight takes b5, a simple tactic, mini tactic. If you take, I just take your queen. For example, after here, just take here. But this not best to do that. So black just played the queen to e7 now. After queen to f4, we have g6 from Bobby, a4, bishop to g5, and the queen. After queen to c4, bishop takes on e3, king to h1. We have f4. So this bishop here is kind of a base. After g3, trying to somehow remove this pawn and open the line for the rook. We have g5. A better move for Bobby could be knight to e5, hitting the queen here. After queen to e2, we go g5 to defend this pawn once more and continue our play. And Bobby had a very good advantage and could win it much easier. But actually, g5 was not played. It's not a bad move, not a blunder. Still, black is in the game and winning it. So rook a to e1, queen to g4, often in exchange, queen to b4, often in exchange, and for Boris Spassky just as he wanted, just accepted. And here queen to b4 was not really fan of this move because if your opponent king is somehow weak, you should just keep the queen on the board. Uh, Maybe it was the I just blame it on the maybe evaluation of Bobby's. I blame it for Bobby's evaluation because he maybe thought that his king is much in danger that opponent's king, that Boris' king. So that's why he played queen to b4 and offered exchange of queens. The best move here was just rook to g8, after knight to c3, knight to e5, queen to e4, queen to c7, knight to b5, hitting the queen. We have queen to c4, again offering exchange of queens, queen takes queen, knight chapters back, then c3, we have rook g6, and now rook to d3, for example, is coming, hitting this one if this knight is gone, and Black is in the game and having very good advantage at this point. Okay. But that was not played. Rook to g8 was not played. Instead, as I said, queen to b4 was just played here. Queen takes knight chapters. Then we have rook to e2, king to g7. A better move could be knight to c6, knight to h3. We have king to g7, knight to c4, rook h2, e8, and this is good for black still. But king to g7 was played. It's not bad mode. Somehow alternative of uh, somehow rook to g8. So rook g8 and king to g7, both of them are very nice and excellent moves. Nothing to blame on those moves. Okay, nothing wrong. After king g7, knight to a5, b6, knight to c4. So black white actually is trying to hit this bishop take. So we have knight to e5 defending it once more. We have knight c to d6, bishop to c5, knight b7, rook to c8, and c4, just knight b3, rook to f3, knight takes on c4, g takes on f4, then g4 was just played, hitting the rook in this moment. We have rook to d3, h5, h3, knight to a5, knight to d6, chapters. Now comes rook c1 check, king to g2, knight to c4, knight to e8 check, king to g6, and h4, f6, rook to e6, rook to c2 check, king to g1, king to f5, knight g7 check, king takes on f4, rook d4 check, king g3, knight f5, king f3, rook e4. So Boris Spassky at this moment kind of handled it to actually handled it completely very well to draw and perpetuate checks. Rook to c1 check, king to h2, and because white is having, for example, if black, for example, goes like this, then it's mated. Black king is just mated in 7 after the 4, king to e2, knight to g3 check, king to e3, rook f comes with rook f e4 comes with check, king to f2, rook to e2, king to f3, rook to d3. For example, after here, then this is just checkmate. And if you play knight to e3, it's just kind of sacrificing the piece for just get like checkmate. For example, after here, king to f4, then this rook to e4. Again, we have mate for Boris Spassky. So that's why Boris Spassky just had. Sorry, Bobby Fischer has to just be satisfied with the perpetual checks and drew the game. He could have won it, but here he kind of went wrong and blundered it since here. He played knight b7, and we have rook to c8 from Bobby Fischer, which he could have played knight to e3. It is hard to move to find after knight to b7, knight to e3. I'm hitting your knight, hitting your rook, but I'm already hitting your rook too. So if you take here, I just take back on here, and here is coming, here is coming, and black is completely crushing white in this position. Uh, but at this moment went wrong, and Boris Spassky tried his best and actually succeeded in gaining draw of the game by perpetual check. Yes, and they redraw, and the game just ended up there at this moment. King to g1, then just draw. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and comment on this video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now. See you again next time.